Hello, my budding psychologists. Good morning to all of you. Now, today in this lecture, we talk about perspectives on motivation. We'll talk about what is motivation, what are the different perspectives. As in my earlier lectures, when I talked about the perspectives of the other areas, perspective means understanding the concept according to different views. The people try to explain the things in their own manner, in their own theoretical background, in their own perception. So, how the people explain the motivation from different angles, that is actually perspectives on the motivation. Now, first of all, let us see what is motivation. The word motivation is derived from a Latin word mover, which means to move. Psychologists define motivation as an internal process that activates, guides and maintains behavior. Understanding motivation often helps us to answer the question why. Why do people behave as they do, or why do people persist in certain courses of action even when they don't seem to yield any obvious or immediate reward. The word motivation has come from a Latin word, and that is a mover. As you know, the personality has come from a Latin word, and that is persona, which means mask. Similarly, it has come from the Latin word mover, and mover means to move. Where to move? Where is my goal? Where I want to go? So, motivation actually is the force which takes you towards your goal. Why you are studying? Why are working hard? Why I am delivering this lecture? My motivation is that I must able to explain the psychological concept in a easiest manner to you. Your motivation is that you want to get a degree, you want to achieve in your life, you want to be successful in your life. So, understanding that why the people do a particular behavior, we talk about the motivation. It was the general definition of the emotion, but how Petre has defined motivation I will talk about. In 1996, Petre defined motivation as motivation is the process by which activities are started, directed and continued so that physical or psychological needs or wants are met. Why we are doing a behavior? The behavior of the person is always goal directed. Without goal, my behavior will not move, and that goal I will decide according to my needs, and that needs may be physiological need, that need may be the psychological needs. So, Petre says motivation is the process by which activities are started, directed and continued. You have initiated an activity, you are taking that activity into a particular direction, and to reach the goal you continue that effort unless and until the goal is achieved. You have started a match, you want to win. Now, what is you are playing continuously for 90 minutes because you want the end result winning, that goal is to win the match. So, started the match, directed in the field, started playing and wanted to achieve the goal. This Petre has defined that we are moving to the goal because we are starting, we are directing and continuing effort to get the goal. For example, when a person, I am giving example, for example, when a person is relaxing in front of the television and begins to feel hungry, the physical need for the food might cause the person to get up, go into the kitchen and search for something to eat. The physical need of hunger caused the action getting up, directed it going to the kitchen and sustained the search finding or preparing something to eat. Loneliness may lead to calling a friend or going to a place where there are people whom you can meet. You are looking TV show, clear? You are enjoying the TV show. A need of hunger arises. Now, you want to eat something because you are feeling hungry, the tummy is empty, you are feeling uncomfortable. Now, what do you see? You just get up from the seat, that is the starting. Now, after getting from the seat, your sofa or the chair, where you are sitting on which you are looking, enjoying the TV. Now, where you will be directed? Towards the kitchen, towards the fridge, where there are articles, there are food elements are there. And then in the kitchen you start finding, is there anything ready made? Bread is there, biscuits are there. If the biscuit or the bread is not, then you start preparing something. You start preparing omelette, you start preparing pakoda or whatever you want to eat. So, you just started, get up, directed, you move toward the kitchen and starting preparing. So, this is the motivation which Petre explained. So, when you say motivation, the action is initiated, directed and continued till the goal is achieved. Now, what are the perspectives of motivation? Researchers and theorists begin the serious study of motivation almost as soon as psychology became an independent field of science. The perspectives of motivation are varied. A few are being taken for the discussion, because there are so many we can't cover in a short period. You see, earlier psychology was part of philosophy, you know that very well. And when William Wundt started his first lab in the Leipzig, then we moved into the scientific, start thinking psychology in the scientific term. So, right from the beginning, the concepts like learning, motivation, personality, the researchers, the psychologists, the people belonging to different schools of psychology started thinking. So, similarly, the motivation is not we can say it started in 2022 to 2020. It started as early as we started thinking of the psychology as a study of human behavior. So, we will talk about the different theories, the different perspectives which explain motivation. The first theory which I am talking about is instinct and the evolutionary approach, evolution. Now, how this instinct explains the motivation? Early attempts to understand motivation focused on the biologically determined and innate patterns of behavior called instincts that exist in both people and animal. When I say innate, innate means they are inborn. They are not acquired or learned from the environment. Whatever I learn from the environment will be called acquired, I am learning it, and whatever is innate, that is inbuilt, that is in me right from the birth, in my process. When a child is born, newly born baby, you see the child starts crying he has not learned, that is innate. A child, a child start using abusive language, that is not innate, he learned from the environment, that is acquired. Clear? So, this theory believes that the patterns of behavior which they call instinct that exist in both people and animal, instincts are found in both people and the animals both. Just actually started from the animals, just as animals are governed by their instincts to perform activities such as migrating, nest building, mating and protecting their territory. Evolutionary theorists propose that human beings may also be governed by the similar instincts. The animal, they have certain instincts. In Siberia, when there is so much cold, the birds, you have might heard about kurja. They, just migrate from Siberia to the in the Rajasthan, that area is near Pokhran, Falodi, in the Jaisalmer area. They start moving. When there is some animals you have seen, they hibernate in the winter and they come in the summer. So, they have learned a process of migration. Nest building, is it learned? Are they architects? Are animal engineer? It is innate, nest building. Then mating, producing child, sexual need, it is all protecting their territory. You might have seen in a colony, if there are 2-3 dogs, if a dog from the other territory comes, they all attack to that dog. They say it is my territory, it is my area. So, this they have not learned. It is the basic instinct to protect one's territory, migration, nest building, mating and others. So, The people like James 1890, McDougall 1908, they said the same type of instincts are found in the human being also as like the animals. For instance, according to these theorists, whom James McDougall, these theorists, the human instinct to reproduce is responsible for sexual behavior, and the human instinct for territorial protection may be related to the aggressive behavior. To protect our territory, we become aggressive. Sexual behavior, there is a mating that gives you to give birth of the child, that is the reproduction. So, they have tried to explain the human behavior with these instincts. William McDougall, a big name in psychology, in 1908 proposed a total 18 instincts, 18 of the human. For I am not explaining all the 18 because of the paucity of the time, we have limited time, because when I will talk somewhere, teach you in some semester McDougall, then we will talk about all the 18 instincts. I have given here example of 2 or 3. William McDougall 1908 proposed a total of 18 instincts of human, including curiosity, flight means running away, then propensity, aggressiveness, acquisition, gathering possession. The child says my mother, my bottle of milk, possession, clear. He starts attacking, that is aggressiveness. So, they say that we can explain by the human behavior by these instincts. So, this theory, you know, was given by the McDougall and explained the evolution means these instincts are innate, they have come from the generation to generation. The second perspective which explains motivation is drive reduction theory. What is this theory? Try to understand. This approach focuses on the concept of needs and drives. A need is a requirement of some material such as food or the water that is essential for the survival of an organism. When an organism has a need, it leads to a psychological tension, and that is an unpleasant state of arousal. It motivates the organism to act in order to fulfill the need and reduces the tension. This tension is called as a drive. Now, what is this? They say whenever a need arises, whatever the need we will talk about later on, a need arises in the person. Technically, if you ask me to define a need, I will say need means deficiency or excessiveness of anything is the need. When the urine collects in the urine bladder, this is not deficiency, excess of the water, and we have to go to the washroom. We have to, that is excessive. But here to explain, I will talk about the deficiency. Whenever a deficiency is created in the body, it will produce tension in me, and a person cannot remain in tension for a longer period of time. Can we? We can't. To reduce this tension, where I will go, where I will rush towards my goal. I will rush to the goal. When I am rushing to my goal, we have talked about what is motivation? To move toward the goal. So, I am giving you lecture, for example, I am speaking for last 2 hours and there is no water provision here, no glass of water. After 2 hours, the management asks me, sir, have a cup of tea. I will say, no, I do not want a cup of tea at the moment, first give me a glass of water. Because that deficiency is, disturbing my balance, homeostasis, clear, my producing tension, and one cannot remain in tension for a longer period of time, tension, and that drive moves me towards the goal. This theory is called, this perspective is called drive reduction. That means, this theory says we go to the goal not because of the instinct, but because to reduce our drive, to satisfy our needs. Drive reduction theories proposes connections between internal physiological states and outward behavior. In this theory, there are 2 kinds of drives, primary drives and the secondary drives. When we talk about the type of motivation, it will again come. Primary drives and the secondary drives. Primary drives are those that involve survival needs of the body, such as hunger, thirst, sex, etc. Secondary needs are those that are learned through experience or conditioning, such as money, social approval, prestige, achievement, like that. This theory also includes the concept of homeostasis, that is, tendency of the body to maintain a steady state. Now try to understand. This theory says that we have two types of the drives, which we will talk about later, motives that type needs. One is called primary, the second is called secondary. Primary means where you can't live, where your existence is not possible. Can you live without food? Can you live without water? Can you live without sleeping? So, your need, hunger, thirst, sleep, sex, these are the needs which are essential for the human survival, the first primary. Sex we can exclude from the Indian perspective, Indian culture point, but for without hunger, thirst and the sleep, we just can't survive. This is my primary need. We must met for my physical survival. Secondary, achievement, prestige, approval. You say, sir, you are not a good person. How does it matter? Doesn't affect me. I have come here, I have delivered lecture, I will take my fee, I will take my honorarium and go back. What will happen? You won't call me again. Don't call me. But it will not, put my survival in danger. But if you don't give me water, you don't allow me to sleep, my survival will be in danger. That is primary, and your achievement, your prestige, your recognition, this is your secondary. And what is homeostasis? To maintain the balance. It is a human nature. Hungry, eat the food, need is satisfied, balance is maintained. Clear? So, drive reduction theories explains how we are able to maintain our homeostasis. Drive reduction theories persist in psychology for several decades. It was a very popular theory and remained in psychology for, it is still today, it is not discarded, still today. And I am repeating, drive reduction theory persisted in psychology for several decades and is not even discarded today. However, it doesn't explain all human motivation. Why do people eat when they are not really hungry? Not they are hungry. Human beings engage in action that increases tension. Even when you are not hungry, if ice cream comes before you and you enjoy the ice cream, you enjoy the sweet, you enjoy the namkeen, I am not hungry, but still I will eat. But this theory says only you will eat when you are hungry. So, it is not explaining this behavior. Even I move to a behavior which increases my tension, You start reading a detective novel. Now, after reading 20 pages, you are exhausted, but it appears that A is the murderer. So, let us see what is the next page. No, B appears to be the murderer. No, C appears to be murderer. Now, still you are exhausted, your balance is, you are in tension, you are feeling sleep, but still you read whole the novel because the curiosity, tension has created and we are moving forward. So, how this behavior can be explained? By drive reduction. So, that is why the other theories came. In some other talk, I will talk about abundancy and deficiency motive also. So, this was your drive reduction theory. So, the third theory came, that is called arousal theory, seeking optimum action. When it became clear that people sometimes need to increase rather than reduce existing drives, an alternate theory known as arousal theory was formulated. This theory focuses on arousal, that is our general level of activation. It does not believe in reduction, it believes in arousal. Arousal means increasing the tension. Arousal varies throughout the day, from low level during the sleep to much higher when we are performing strenuous tasks or the activities we find exciting. Arousal theory suggests that when we seek is not minimum level of arousal rather than optimal arousal, the level that is the best suited to our personal characteristics and to whatever activities we are currently performing. Now, you see, the amount of arousal, the intensity of arousal is not constant. It will vary from task to task, from stage to stage, from time to time. When you are get up early in the morning, the arousal level is very low. We feel very laziness, give me a bad tea, then you go to the washroom, take the bath, and then you put up the dress, and then you are activated. And when you go to your field for the work, the arousal level increases. When the arousal level will increase, your effort to achieve the goal will be more. You have started a match, start playing the match. In the beginning, the match is very slow. Am I right or wrong? Match is very slow. They just putting the ball, they give pass A to B, B to C, C to D. The arousal level is slow. But as the match proceeds, the arousal level increases. And when the arousal level increases, we put our efforts to the maximum so that we may win the match. So, they say the arousal level when increases, it will motivate you. Now, how much arousal level should be? It depends from activity to activity and task to task. But a minimum arousal is necessary for each and every task, but if arousal goes beyond the limit, it may even demotivate you. But I am saying optimum average level is necessary for a routine work. I am giving you lecture, arousal level is optimum level is necessary. But I am an Indian soldier, I am in the Indian army, and there is a war. Now, at that level, my arousal level will not be optimal, my arousal level will be maximum. Clear? So, that depends on the your stage, whatever it is. For example, I have given you an example. For example, if you are doing a routine work like knitting, a low level of arousal will be optimal and when will be preferred. If you are competing in a sports event, a much higher one will be the best. You are simply cooking the meal, you are simply knitting at your home, you are simply sitting in the garden and doing the gardening, a optimal level, a minimum level is necessary. But if you are playing, you want to win, you are competing, you are preparing for the competition, then the level should be high. I explained you with the example of the Indian army and others, this I have explained with the other example. It is difficult to determine in advance that what level of arousal will be optimal for a given task or situation. Very difficult to define. That is why I said it varies from activity to activity, even from person to person. Yerkes and Dodson, they are two persons, in 1908 suggested that the level of arousal beyond which performance begins to decline is the function of the task difficulty. Try to understand, I am repeating, suggested that the level of arousal beyond which performance begins to decline, your performance starts declining, is the function of task of difficulty. As the task of difficulty increases, the performance start decreasing. So, they say the level of your arousal should be according to the difficulty level, and this is popular by the name Yerkes-Dodson law. So, if somebody asks Yerkes-Dodson law, this law is based on the arousal theory. Clear? Now, next is the expectancy theory. Expectancy theory is a cognitive approach. We have talked about two theories. I am coming to the third perspective, the third theory. Expectancy theory, a cognitive approach. Why do you read a book? Why do you read a book at home? Is it reduced to some biological need? I am reading a book, it will satisfy my hunger, it will satisfy my thirst, it will satisfy my need of the sleep. No, the answer is no. Rather, why you are reading? Rather, you are probably reading it because doing so will help you to reach an important goal. What is expectancy? To reach an important goal. And what is that goal? Gaining useful and interesting knowledge. You are reading a book, the goal is gaining some interesting and useful knowledge. Earning good marks in exam. I am reading a book to get the good marks. Clear? Graduating from the college, I will get a degree from a university. In short, your behavior is determined by your thoughts about your future outcomes and how your current actions can help you get whatever, wherever it is that you want to go in life. This forms the basis of another perspective of motivation, expectancy theory, which was propounded by Victor Room. This theory is propounded by Victor Room. They say we work because there are some expectations. I simply want to get through. I will cram the lesson because I want a number. I do not want to increase my lesson. I am a teacher. I am to explain before the students. My expectation is to explain the point. I will not cram the point. I will try to understand the concept. You are appearing for the examination where the MCQ type of the questions will come. Then the understanding of the concept will be goal, not the cramming of the will be your goal. Clear? So, this theory says, which was given by Victor Room, they say your expectation will decide, will determine what you want to achieve. This theory suggests that motivation is that primary matter of being pushed from within by the various outcomes. Such outcomes known as incentives can be almost anything. One has learned to value money, status, the approval of others, etc. Why do people engage in complex, effortful or even painful behavior such as working many hours on their jobs, studying long time into the night or performing exercise that are at least initially painful? Expectancy theory answers this question because they believe that doing so will yield the outcomes they wish to attain. The activity which you are doing may be painful, but that will fulfill my goal. You want to maintain your body, your actors, your players, they are on the gyms for hours together. When you are exercising on the gyms, they are giving the pain to the body, clear, but their expectancy is to remain the fit for the job. So, this was your expectancy theory, and last theory in nutshell I have explained, goal setting theory. This theory emphasizes the importance of cognitive factor rather than drives or the arousal. It can be explained by this example. Suppose you are studying for a big exam. Do you ever tell yourself in advance that you won't stop until you have read a number of certain pages or memorized certain specific number of points or topics? No, we do not stop. We will say my goal is this. I will read this chapter today. So, you want to achieve that goal. I will deliver this lecture. Expectancy, you must understand. Goal, I must complete this topic in this the fixed time. Though when I will be fixed time, then I will have a set goal. So, when you are moving toward the set goal, it is goal setting theory. When you are fulfilling the expectancy, that is expectancy theory. When you are reducing your tension, that is drive reduction theory, and when you are moving through your basic instinct, that is instinct or evolutionary model. So, these are the perspectives which explain the concept of the motivation.